Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I wanted to expand on an idea that I somewhat mentioned shortly in a previous video of mine. And I remember saying that this idea might not be something worth its own video, but on thinking about it, I think what we have here might be something that will probably make the game interesting and provide content, replayability, and a good cycle in terms of rewarding the players, in terms of keeping the players busy, and then, giving us something to do while we're awaiting the raid to be fine-tuned. There's talk that the raid was postponed because it was the ETF played it and said, this is crap, take it back to the drawing board, and the developers are doing that. Some people have even speculated that the developers may not have enough people working on the Division 2 currently, and they might be working on a third game, or Avatar, which is a game that they announced a long time ago. So these are some of the things that are being speculated out there. I don't know. Nobody told me anything, so I guess I'll just stick with what I heard, which is the raid is being delayed. They want it to be better. So I guess we'll take the developer's word for it, even though Massive has been known to say A and then B is going on. So what I talked about was the hunter missions in a sense. And some people have said this was a good idea. Some people have said, well, this idea probably needs to be, implemented in a more toned down way. But either way, I think if you look back at the Division 1, when the hunters were first introduced in survival, I think the experience is probably one of the most I'm going to have to use the word, and I'm not a big fan of using this word because I feel like it has almost no meaning. It was one of the most hype moments in the Division game where you found out that there were these new enemy types that you could encounter at the end of your survival run. And then, even to make things even better, they actually started adding these enemy types to the underground. And some people are saying, why can't we have an underground? Because DC does have a lot of tunnel systems and a lot of underground systems. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty great. But, that's going to require for them to redesign and re-implement, a few changes in terms of the architecture of the map currently, which is not it's not a no-brainer in a sense. They can do it. They did it for the Dark Zone. I know when they say they don't want to expand the Dark Zone in the Division 2, I laugh because they expanded the Dark Zone in the Division 1. If you remember, DZ was from DZ 1 to DZ 6, and then they added 7, 8, and 9, I think, over the course of the game. So they added a whole extra area to the Dark Zone. So a lot of the things that they usually say, will probably not be useful in doing are things that they've actually done before. So this is probably one of those other things where they've done something like this before. I wonder if they could step it up a notch by taking these missions that we already have, including the new missions that are coming in, and every day or every week they can make one mission or two missions, what I call haunted missions. That's my very lay way of putting it, where as you're playing this mission, hunters sabotage the mission, or the mission has hunters in them and you're not aware of it. And I think this is the best part of it, where you don't know that this mission is a haunted mission. So everybody is looking and saying, you know what, I think we're going to play, all the way from, stinking CDC, all the way to Potomac Event Center, or even a stronghold, to see if we'll find a hunter. And you know how long that's going to take. Everybody trying out different missions. And now you've brought players back to playing the game. Now you have people active looking for these missions. And then if you tie them with some kind of unique reward, which is probably only available that week, people are going to be willing to go in and get these rewards. And I've said this before, even if it's a keychain, there will be people who are happy to get a keychain drop from a hunter that they can, say this is something that I attained from playing one of these hunted missions. And you know how the hunters almost always get introduced. They're usually introduced in a very surprise mechanic. You can tell that they're there by their little smoke when they appear, or you can tell, or maybe when you're playing the mission, you approach a level and then you start, hearing that, you start seeing the static on your gear and all that stuff. And then you're like, oh, wow, we're in a hunter mission. There are really epic ways that they can actually use them because they're in the lore of the game. They actually are part of the game. And they are enemy types that the community, especially the PvE community, would love to see all the time. And also, there was something that they said about Title Update 6 that, enemies now have a chance to hijack your loot or something like that. why not also add hunters to the dark zone to give it a whole different dynamic? There are people who enjoy going into the dark zone even till this day. I know the news out there is that PvP is dead. There's nobody PvPing and all that. People are playing conflict. That's why they added a conflict map. Even though some people may say, really, is that all that they did? Yeah, because people are playing conflict. It's the dark zone that a lot of people have snubbed because of the baseline mechanics of the entire game, even because I think the dark zone is actually okay. I think it's just a lot of the PvP players do not enjoy the Division 2 mechanics in terms of PvP. They prefer the Division 1 mechanics, the skill system, the healing system, and weaponry and all that stuff. You know, grenades. Here, you want to throw a grenade, you know, you have to, you know, put your hand in your grenade pouch and then throw the grenade as if, you know, you don't have a ball and socket joint on your shoulder. You know, it's really weird the way they designed it in this game, and definitely it's something that I feel like the developers will probably have to work on, because they did say they were working on some things about movement speed. So I think they're probably going to work on that grenade toss mechanism and change it later on. But this is still something that I feel the developers can do. I put a tweet yesterday. I tweeted the tweet to the Division 2's Twitter. I don't really use Twitter. I don't know what Twitter is really about, but I just kind of put the word out there. So I don't know if the developers are going to take it for anything, but I think it's a step that they can actually input in the game and provide another layer of replayability. So that's pretty much my idea. I just thought I'll put it in a separate video, because if some people missed out on the other video, we can have this discussion. If you can share this video, go ahead and share it. I don't know where, you know, people are talking about a Division. I mean, I do know there are Discord servers all over the place. The developers may be watching this video, so I think it's worth talking about. I think the developers ought to take a look at something like this at least, and provide the community for, you know, with something that they can be doing, because 2 missions for an update, I don't think it really feels sufficient. I think the community would need to, you know, find some things to keep playing and to keep doing, because once those missions are beaten, once everybody refarms their gear, I don't think it would take 2 months for that to happen, because the loot's quality, even if it's going to be slightly better, the quantity is also going to allow for people to be able to complete their builds as quickly as they possibly can. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for your time and audience. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.